Okay, today your first priority is to work on your perspective cities. That means using the colored pencils to add color to them, and if you still need to do some work doing outline with Sharpie, that's your first job. But I am going to describe the next step, which is a planning phase for our next project. We're going to be doing printmaking next, and sixth grade does what's called a reduction print. It's a little bit more complicated than your fifth grade printmaking experience. We are still going to use that material that you carve to use as our print plate. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about lettering style. I want you to start to generate some ideas using your initials. So the first letter of your first name, middle, and last name. If you have a middle name, you could include it. So there's tons of different lettering styles, and it's kind of something I really enjoy. You might notice from the signs around the room, those are all things that I've done by hand. One book that I found, I'm going to switch to the other screen so you can see. One book that I really enjoyed that I got this summer was this hand lettering book. And if this is a resource that you want to take a look at, it'll be on the short table next to your papers. But I also will have handouts on if you're interested in learning kind of some graffiti lettering or you want to do some calligraphy lettering. I have handouts on those too because those are more styles to check out. There are just a few rules with your design, very simple to follow. You want to end up with 4 designs before we get to our final project, and they all should be different, and the designs should touch all 4 sides of your sketchbook page. So I have 4 designs that I worked on. And so they all touch the edges of the page, and they're all really different. So this one I used just kind of thinner lines, but I was using the really thick Sharpies because we don't want really thin lines in our final design. So I did the first initial of my first name and my last initial as well. And you don't have to do kind of the correct letters, so I chose to do undercase. I didn't capitalize these letters, that's okay. And then to fulfill the requirement that it touches all 4 sides of the paper, I added a little bit of extra design around the edge, just for fun. This one is more bold, it has some thicker lines, and I turned my letters to make it look more like a design. So it might be harder to pick out the L, E, and M, but it's there. And the point is that it's inspired by the letters, and it doesn't matter so much if you can read it clearly. I added in these shaded areas to kind of make it more bold as well. Okay, so I tried something different on all 4, but all of the designs have the design touching the edges of my paper. These papers are slightly smaller than your sketchbook pages, but your sketchbook page will work out great for this. Okay, so if you finish your perspective city, you can switch to planning some designs for our future printmaking project. I'm going to show you a little bit, like a sneak peek of our printmaking, but it's not going to look like a letter design. It's going to be more of a picture. So on this one, I started off with a bird on a little branch. And you can see the numbers in here. I've numbered 1 through 3 in different sections so that I'm labeling what colors I'm going to use. Our final print is going to be 3 colors at once. And I know in years past, we've always told you that that's not possible to do multiple colors in the same print. And that's because we were not using this more advanced technique. We were using simpler things. So I'm going to show you kind of step by step a little bit today. The reason why this works is because I transferred the design, and first I just carved out a little bit. I carved out the white areas, and I printed my first color, which is yellow. Then, after I printed, I carved again, and I carved away anything that I wanted to stay yellow. So my print block looked like this, with a little bit less material there. My middle color was a blue, kind of a turquoise, and so after I carved away, I printed that blue right on top of the yellow. Lastly, I carved away anything that was going to stay blue so that only the sections that I wanted to print brown, my last color, would be here. So only the sections like the twig and the back of the bird, I left those without carving. That's the last layer that I wanted to print. So here's how it turns out after you print all the layers on the same page. You have all the colors present to make kind of a picture. In our case, it'll be more of a design. I also have an example from a student who did this a couple of years ago, and I thought that he did a really great job. So you have to be careful to line it up when you print, and he did a great job doing that. He chose light green, dark green, and a purple for his image. Okay. So this is kind of where we're going. We'll talk more about it next time. And until then, work on your prospective cities, and then when you're ready, you can switch to working your sketchbook. Right now, the teacher will call out the names on the back of the prospective cities because everyone should have their name on it. If you finish today, you can take that with you as well. You can take those prospective cities home. And in fact, if you'd like to take it with you and you haven't finished, go ahead and do that as well. Okay, and we'll continue next class.